Okay, I want you to picture a scenario.
Hmm.
It's, say it's a Tuesday morning, you're in the marketing huddle, holding your coffee. You've spent, what, the last 3 years building up your company's LinkedIn page?
Right.
You finally hit that magic number, 10,000 followers, and it looks great on the slide deck for the QBR.
Oh, yeah. That's the kind of number that makes the C-suite smile. It feels like safety.
Exactly. It feels like an asset.
Yeah.
So you've got the graphics team making these beautiful branded carousels.
Oh,
You've got a social media manager obsessing over the copy, scheduling posts for exactly 10:00 a.m. because, some blog said that's the golden hour.
of course.
You hit publish on a post you think is a winner, you wait, you refresh,
And crickets.
maybe a handful of likes. Yeah, and they're probably from your own sales team just trying to be supportive.
If you're lucky, you look at the analytics, and maybe 200 people saw it out of 10,000.
Oof.
And you get this sinking feeling in your stomach. It's not just disappointment, it's like confusion. You start thinking, am I shouting into the void? And the thing is, it isn't just a feeling. The data says you actually are shouting into the void.
And I think a lot of people listening right now, especially B2B folks, are just nodding along. You have this internal monologue of, did I mess up the hashtag strategy? Is our creative stale? Did we post on the wrong day?
Right.
But today, we are going to look at a stack of evidence that suggests it's not you.
No, it's the machine.
We are doing a forensic analysis of the current state of LinkedIn B2B marketing. We've pulled two really heavy-hitting documents for this deep dive: B2B LinkedIn strategy, solving the reach and trust crisis and breaking the LinkedIn trust gap. And honestly, looking at these sources, our mission today is just to validate your frustration with some cold, hard math.
We need to rip the Band-Aid off. The old playbook, post 3 times a week, polish the corporate logo, sound professional. It's broken.
It's broken.
And it isn't just underperforming, it is
Yeah.
fundamentally broken because of two massive sources just colliding at the same time. The organic reach crisis and the trust gap.
Before we get into the solution, because the sources do offer one, we really need to look at the damage. The numbers in these reports were, frankly, shocking to me. I consider myself pretty plugged in, but the scale of the decline they're talking about, it's staggering.
It is a necessary wake-up call. We're looking at data here from the Socialinsider 2025 benchmark report and the authored-up algorithm report.
Okay.
The source material calls it the brutal math, and they are not kidding. Between 2023 and 2025, organic reach on LinkedIn has dropped by something like 64% from its peak.
Hold on. Let's just pause there. 64%. If you lost 64% of your email list overnight, you would be fired. Or you'd assume the server crashed.
But because this was a slow bleed over 2 years, people just adapted. They just kept working harder. But it gets more granular. Median post impressions are down 18% year over year.
Wow.
Before you think, well, maybe that's just for bad content, the data shows reach is down for 98% of users.
So if you feel like your engagement is tanking, you aren't an outlier. You are statistically in the vast majority. But why? Did LinkedIn just decide they hate company pages?
In a way, yeah. Or rather, they decided they love users more.
Mm-hmm.
There's one stat here that really puts it in perspective. We talk about company pages, the brand page, the logo.
Sure.
The source says that company pages now make up just 1 to 2% of the total LinkedIn feed.
1 to 2%? That seems impossibly low.
Is it? Think about your own behavior. Open your phone right now. Scroll through your feed. What do you see?
I see. Well, I see influential people in my industry. I see my old colleagues getting promoted. I see some random polls about working from home.
Exactly. You see people. You rarely see a brand logo unless it says promoted underneath it.
Right.
So companies are spending thousands of dollars, hiring agencies, and burning hours trying to compete in a feed where they literally hold 1% of the real estate. They weren't just losing the competition. They aren't even inside the stadium.
It reminds me of the story that's in the source material about a VP of marketing. I think this anecdote really grounds it because it's so relatable.
The VP story is brutal.
Hmm.
So she has a team. They're doing everything right by 2020 standards. They're publishing 12 posts a week.
High frequency.
Right. They have 50,000 followers on their company page.
Which, let's be clear, is a serious asset. That's a stadium full of people. You'd think you could move mountains with that audience.
In theory. But the result, their average post gets 800 impressions.
Let me do the math on that. That's a 1.6% reach rate.
1.6%. But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets really painful for a marketer who has to justify their budget.
Okay.
Of those 800 impressions, She has absolutely no idea if even one of them is a target buyer.
Right, because an impression just means it loaded on a screen. It could be 800 college students looking for internships. It could be competitors spying on them.
It could be 800 bots. Precisely. It is the definition of vanity metrics. The source calls this the content treadmill, and I think that is such a perfect image for the burnout teams are feeling.
Because what's the natural reaction when numbers drop? You try harder.
You run faster. You say, okay, the algorithm changed. We need to A/B test headlines. We need to post twice a day instead of once.
Sure.
But look at the math again. If only 2% of your audience sees your post and you double your posting frequency, all that happens is that 2% of people see you twice.
You're not reaching new people. You aren't widening the funnel.
No. You are just sweating more on a treadmill that isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're optimizing for an algorithm that has fundamentally decided your content-type corporate posting is low priority.
Okay, so that is the first massive headwind. You're invisible. But I want to play devil's advocate here for a second. Let's say you do get lucky. Let's say you create the perfect viral post, you crack the algorithm, and people actually see your content.
Okay.
Does that solve the problem?
The source material says absolutely not, because then you run smack into the second problem, the trust gap.
This is the credibility problem.
And honestly, this might be harder to solve than the reach problem. The landscape of the internet has changed so drastically in the last, 24 months. We're seeing AI just flood the zone.
Oh, totally.
There's so much generic ChatGPT-generated content out there now.
We've all seen it. Posts that start with, in today's fast-paced digital landscape, or use the word delve 3 times in one paragraph.
It's slop. It's filler. It looks professional. The grammar is perfect, but it says absolutely nothing. So subconsciously, what are buyers doing? They're developing a filter. They're retreating to human voices.
They're looking for signals of something real.
Exactly. Messy human expertise.
Do we have numbers on this shift, or is it just a vibe?
We have numbers. The sources cite data from corporate visions that found buyers trust employees, actual people, 3 times more than corporate brands.
3 times. That isn't a small margin. That is a landslide.
And the 2024 Edelman Trust Barometer backs this up. They found that 74% of people trust technical experts to tell the truth about innovation. Compare that to how much they trust a brand handle.
Wow.
There is no contest.
This connects back to the feed real estate issue, too.
Absolutely. It's a feedback loop.
If users prefer people, the platform prefers people.
Exactly. We mentioned company pages are 1 to 2% of the feed, while personal posts from human profiles, they occupy 62% of the feed.
62.
So not only do people trust people more, but the platform itself is prioritizing people over logos because that's what keeps users on the app.
I want to make this concrete for everyone listening. The source material has this great comparison between the old way of posting and the new way. Can you break that down? Because I think we've all been guilty of the old way.
Sure. So the old way is the classic corporate brand post. It usually sounds something like this. We are excited to announce our new Q3 report on AI trends. Download here to learn more.
I have scrolled past that post 1,000 times. It feels like a commercial. It feels like they want something from me.
Right. It's look at us, look at our report.
Yeah.
Now contrast that with a new way, which relies on executive influence. That post sounds like this. I spent the last 3 weeks auditing 50 different AI implementations. The biggest mistake I saw. People are over-indexing on LLMs and under-indexing on data hygiene. Here's what I found.
Oh, that's a huge difference. The first one is asking for a click. The second one is giving value right there in the feed.
Exactly. It feels like genuine expertise from someone who was actually in the trenches. One is a logo shouting a press release. The other is a human sharing a war story.
And in an age of AI noise, the human war story wins. Every single time.
Every time.
So we have these 2 problems, and when you put them together, the sources describe this as a double bind.
It's a nasty trap. Think about it. Problem 1 is the reach crisis. You're invisible.
Right.
Problem 2 is the trust gap. When you are seen, if it's coming from a brand handle, you're distrusted. So you're fighting tooth and nail to get attention for a messenger that people don't want to hear from anyway.
It feels hopeless when you put it that way. And this leads to what the source calls the algorithm lottery. I think this is a really important concept to grasp, because it explains why going viral doesn't actually help your business pipeline.
This is the part that usually makes the finance team angry. Let's go back to our math. You have 50,000 followers. The algorithm, generally speaking, is going to pick the path of least resistance.
Okay.
It shows your post to the 500 people easiest to reach. Your employees, your mom, your college friends who always like your stuff.
The usual suspects. The echo chamber.
Right. It is not optimizing for the decision maker at Salesforce or Oracle or whoever your high-value prospect is. It is optimizing for engagement velocity.
So what does that look like in practice?
So do the math with me here. 50,000 followers times a 2% reach rate. That gives us about 1,000 views.
Okay, 1,000 views.
Now let's be generous and say 5% of those random viewers are actually your target accounts.
That feels very generous, but let's go with it.
That comes out to 50 impressions.
Yeah.
50. You have an audience of 50,000, you spent hours creating content, and you're getting 50 impressions in front of the people who can actually sign a contract.
That is devastating. You're playing a lottery where the prize isn't even money, it's just a like from someone who will never buy from you.
Exactly.
So naturally, the question is, why not just pay? I mean, LinkedIn has a boost button. It is right there. Why not just boost the post and force people to see it?
The boosting trap. It's so tempting. It feels like a shortcut. But the source material deconstructs this really well. Boosting is essentially paying for more of the same bad distribution.
How so? I thought paying gave you targeting.
Real ad campaigns give you targeting. Boosting is a simplified tool. When you hit boost, you're often paying for reach, but it's still random reach within a broad category. You're telling LinkedIn, show this to more people like my followers.
But we just established my followers are a mix of randoms, competitors, and employees.
Exactly. So you're paying to amplify the noise. Boosting doesn't give you the control to say, show this only to the CTO of Adobe. You can't target specific accounts with that level of precision using a simple boost.
So you end up spending $500 or $1,000.
To get vanity metrics, you get more likes? Sure. But are they likes that turn into pipeline? Usually not. You're basically paying to amplify the lottery, not to fix the game.
Okay, this is bleak. The organic algorithm is a lottery we're losing. The trust gap means our brand handle is ignored. Boosting is just throwing money at a broken system. We have to pivot. What is the actual solution here?
The source material hints at a solution that requires a complete mindset shift. You have to stop acting like a media company trying to build an audience.
Right.
And start acting like a network of experts trying to build recognition.
Recognition. That's specific word choice. Break that down.
Think about how you actually buy things or learn to trust a name in your industry. You don't see one viral post and say, here is my money.
No.
The source material suggests a buyer needs to see a name and a consistent message 7 to 10 times to build genuine recognition.
7 to 10 times. That is a lot of frequency.
It is. Now think back to the algorithm lottery. If your reach is random every time you post, what are the odds that the same specific prospect sees you 7 times?
Basically 0. It's statistically impossible. You're hitting a different random slice of the audience every time. You're just skipping across the surface.
Exactly. You never build depth. So the solution proposed in these documents is a new formula. It's got 3 parts. First, the content must come from a person, not a logo. We solve that with the trust gap data.
Check. People trust technical experts.
Second, it must be delivered to specific accounts. Not people interested in tech, but the decision makers at these 50 companies. This moves you from random lottery to guaranteed delivery.
So this implies using paid distribution, but doing it strategically.
Yes, using precise account-based targeting, not just boosting. And third, and this is the hard part, it must be done in a sequence. You can't just throw random insights at them.
You need a narrative.
You need to build a narrative over those 7 to 10 touches so that by the time you reach out, they feel like they know you. They feel like they've been following your thinking.
This touches on something called narrative leadership in the text. It seems distinct from just thought leadership, which has become kind of a buzzword.
It is distinct. Thought leadership has become code for having a loud opinion. Narrative leadership, as described here, is about sharing the actual insights from the work you do.
It's that I audited 50 AI implementations example again.
It is. It's leading the market by showing you understand the problem better than they do.
And doing it through the voice of your executives, not the marketing department.
Precisely. It's recognizing that your executives, their expertise, their war stories, their faces, are the most potent marketing asset you have. The marketing team's job isn't to write the posts for them. It's to extract those stories and ensure they get delivered to the right people.
That is a massive shift in the day-to-day job of a marketer. You're moving from content creation to expertise extraction.
And you're moving from maximizing reach to maximizing recognition within a specific list. It's quality over quantity, but like radically so. You have to be okay with getting fewer likes.
That's the hardest part for the ego, isn't it? Letting go of the viral dream.
It is.
Yeah.
But you can't pay payroll with views. You have to pivot to a model where you might only get 500 views, but they're the right 500 views from the right account, seeing the right human expert.
So let's bring this back home for the listener. We've covered a lot of heavy ground today. We've unpacked the 64% drop in organic reach, the invisible crisis.
Mm.
We've looked at the trust gap, where people trust technical experts 74% of the time versus brands.
And we've exposed the double bind, that doing more of the old thing is just digging a deeper hole.
If someone is listening to this and feeling that frustration, that they're doing the work but not seeing the results, what is the main takeaway?
I think the most important takeaway is that your frustration is a signal. It
Yeah.
isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you are playing a game where the rules have changed.
Right.
The goal is no longer to go viral. Virality is a trap. The goal is to be recognized by the specific people who buy what you sell.
It's about precision.
Precision and humanity.
I want to leave the listener with a final thought to chew on. We talked about this double bind, that you can't rely on the algorithm to find your customers.
Yeah.
And your customers don't trust your brand handle anyway.
Uh-huh.
So here's the question. If those two things are true, are you ready to stop acting like a media company trying to build an audience and start acting like a network of experts trying to build relationships?
That is the pivot. Are you a broadcaster or are you a connector? The future belongs to the connectors.
A lot to think about before you write your next LinkedIn post. Maybe don't worry about the hashtag strategy this time. Worry about whose voice it's coming from and who is actually going to see it.
Focus on the who, not the how many.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you on the next one.